welcome to another episode of Aussie Mac Zone, episode 69 for those that are counting. And yes, we're trundling through the 60s, nearly to the 70 mark. So how you been? Yes, I'm here this week. Normally I'm every second week, but things have changed. So I'll be away the next 2 weeks. Not that you probably really care. You probably going, yay, what's he doing here tonight? But anyway, I'm here. So let's go. Let's get into
me, let me tell you.
Let's get into the show. There's Michael. He's first cab off the rank. How you going, Michael?
Good, Glenn. Good to see the part-timer here.
Yes. Oh, that's exactly right. But so I'm here and we've got another full show. And what have you been up to this week? Anything super exciting?
Nah, just really busy at work for some reason.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's
just
good.
Catches up, unbelievable.
Yeah, yes, it sure does. And Jace, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, and what have you been up to? Busy, I guess?
Busy, yes.
Yeah, what's the weather like? It's been hot up here.
It has been hot here, and then it was thunderstormy and wet here, so we're having a fair cycle of seasons at the moment.
A wow of a time. All right. All right, well, let's just get straight into it. We got the first story here, and thanks to Michael who puts the show notes together. And we've got Macintosh Leapfrog. You don't hear it called Macintosh. Not too much these days. All Mac, just Mac, isn't it? But the Macintosh Leapfrog's iPad to becomes Apple's second biggest selling product line. So that's interesting because the iPad has been subsiding of late. I think we've spoken about this a few times, but I think it's just because they're still selling the iPad 2. I've still got an iPad 2. It's got 8.1 on it, and it's just running like a dream. So there's no need for me to update, really. So I'd say that's what's going on there. We'd all agree.
Take a while to get into the groove, I think, for how often people are going to replace the hardware, because I guess a phone is, some people will do it every year. Most will do it every 2 years, but it doesn't seem to be that same cycle for, iPad. Maybe it's between a phone and a computer then, so maybe every sort of 3 to 4 years it might be.
So on the 30th anniversary of the Macintosh, apparently a 21% jump in unit sales helped Apple's computer line leapfrog the iPad to become the company's second biggest selling product, just behind the iPhone. I don't know about just behind the iPhone, but anyway.
Just a little bit.
Just a tad. Demand for Macs rose amid falling sales of Windows PCs. Oh, really? I think Windows is suffering the same thing as the iPad myself. Like, you can put Windows 8. I've got a little netbook that came with XP on it. Now, this thing's it's got a Centrino in it or something pretty slow, and I can still put Windows 8 on that. And so I'd say that's probably still...
And does it go faster or slower?
Probably a little bit slower, but it's still usable. So that's not too bad. But anyway, we're not here to talk about those guys. We're going to give you some stats now, and the stats are... Demand for Macs rose amid falling sales at Apple, more than 6% of the global PC market share. Oh, what were they before? 5%? So Windows is still 94%. Well, pretty much. That percentage is Apple's highest market share since 1995. So
that's right.
Yeah, the Mac gained market share in 33 of the last 34 quarters.
Nearly 20 years since it was at this high market share, and
yeah, that's good. That's good. What is it that attracts you to Mac, Michael?
Consistency.
But basically,
good. I'm lazy, so I don't believe they take as much to keep going as a Windows machine.
Right.
And when you're fault finding, like I'm pretty anal, and do this, get a result.
Yep.
Do this, get the same result.
Right.
99.999% of the time on a Mac, whereas a Windows machine, you do it and get different results every time. Drives me batty.
Oh, tell me about that. You can do that.
Absolutely kills me.
Yeah. So when you diagnose a Mac, you can there's certain procedures that you would follow to just pretty much sort out any problem.
Yeah.
Is that how you would be doing it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's handy, isn't it?
and even like there's massive amounts of like. As an Apple service person, you have access to massive amounts of service resources,
right?
That everybody doesn't have. But I don't know of any Windows people that have anywhere near that amount of resources available to them from HP or IBM or, just support-wise where you do a net boot and it tells you what's wrong with the machine what sense, I can do a test and it'll say the sensor's not working. Right. And I've got to work out whether it's the hard drive one or the CD temperature sensor or the video card temperature sensor, whereas the Apple software tells you which sensor's actually playing up. So
I know you can get postcards. I don't know, you probably would be familiar with those. The card that you put into the motherboard and it's supposed to tell you the error codes. If it does indeed error, and then you think, okay, let's look up the error code. Then you go, oh, what BIOS have I got? There's 500 of them. And it's crazy. But anyway, what have we got here? Ali Mirza, 21-year-old law student at the University of Edinburgh, said he bought a Lenovo Y500 laptop last year after years of owning a Mac. He thought the Lenovo would provide better value because it had higher specs at a cheaper price. As problems with the computer piled up, Mr. Mirza decided to go back to Mac. I know a lot of people that have done that. That have gone, say, from Mac, PC, back to Mac. He purchased a 13-inch MacBook Pro last week. Now, this is a report. I'm not just making this up, or he's not one of my mates. This is from the Wall Street Journal. So a computer is more than the sum of its parts, said Mr. Mirza. I couldn't get a cheaper computer, but I probably wouldn't get the same value out of it as I would of a Mac. Pretty sad to hear the Lenovo thing didn't meet his high standards. But anyway, that's probably right, I think. And as Michael said, things just roll along a lot smoother. And, for years, Macs haven't been subjected to viruses and all that sort of stuff.
And they don't come with, the phone. It's the phones and the PC. They come with so much stuff on them. When you get a brand new HP, it's got so much crap on it that no one's ever going to use. The same as when you get a Samsung phone. It's full of crap that you don't want on there anyway. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, and with the Apples, we get the useful stuff, the GarageBand and all this sort of stuff. So that's good. Yeah. Now, Jace, what makes you a Mac person?
I think similar to Michael, it just works, and I guess from a operating system point of view, I do like the way it looks and works probably better than Windows, and I guess coming from a networking background, having I guess Linux under the hood as well is nice. That you can just, if the need happens, drop into terminal and all your favourite Linux commands and tools are there, which is often quite helpful when you're doing work. So this is an all-round machine. That's quite handy.
So you're at work with Windows or Macs?
We've got Windows at work for, I guess, day-to-day productivity type of things, but
stress levels ease when you come home.
Well, that's right. Or I do take my laptop into work, so when something real has to happen,
you can have a fix.
It's like work machine can't do that. Oh, we got a video that doesn't work that needs to be transcoded or whatever. Yep. Well, that's okay. I've got my Mac in. I can do that for you. So
works straight away.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
But just on that, I was doing some work on with a Kyocera printer today, and they didn't have a print driver for the version of the operating system that was on the Mac. For that particular printer, whether they thought the printer was too old or what. I downloaded the Linux ones, took out the PPDs from the zip file, put it in the PPD files in OS X. Works like a dream. It's really simple.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's all right. That's I might have to talk to you about. That's one thing I can't get working, printers. But I got the network printer working, but I can't share printers from another machine, if you know what I mean. But anyway, that's a story for another time. Now, Jace has got the next one. Jace, what are you talking about tonight?
The iPod Classic and why it mysteriously disappeared a month or so ago. It disappeared for sale from the website, and Tim confirmed to the Wall Street Journal that indeed it did, and it was because the parts to manufacture the device, or some of the parts needed to manufacture it, were no longer available. And I guess, as we all joked, it had stayed in its current form factor for many years. I don't know, 5, 6 years maybe.
Yes.
if not more. So I'm gathering, like everything, some of those parts just aren't made anymore. It was the last device to use the legacy 30-pin connector, so maybe they went to their little box of parts and there was no 30-pin connectors left, or it still had a hard drive in it, so maybe the hard drives aren't being made anymore. But it's...
So
it's done its
or even the displays,
time,
the displays are only small.
A new version that didn't require these parts wasn't worth the effort. But I think the largest you can still get, I guess because it's in the phones, is only 128 gig, isn't it? So that was 160 gig with the hard drive. So maybe they do need a special 256 gig iPod Touch or something to for those people that insist on carrying all of their songs around.
So the only people that would be buying iPods, would be pretty much kids that don't want a phone, don't need a phone. Like, I can't understand why you would buy an iPod.
I guess it's important to carry your music around as a portable player, I guess, to, maybe go in the car, or, as you're out and about, that it's just a way of getting a lot of music in there. But again, with the phones being up to 128 gig now, a lot of stuff, people are moving probably more slowly in Australia than in the US to streaming type services. It's I think the need for that's diminishing.
Well, that's
hence,
right.
Well, they're not making it. No one's buying it.
Because I had all my CDs backed up onto my hard drive, and had them backed up for a while. I haven't bought a CD for a while because you just play them now live off Spotify or whatever. And it was just probably last month when I do my routinely backups and everything, I just thought, I don't even really want to back this up anymore, because I never use it. I don't use the music I've got on the computer. If I want the music, I just go to the Spotify, or the whatever, music streaming of your choice is, Mog or whatever JB Hi-Fi has. But Spotify's the one for me. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't back my music up anymore, which is that's a sign of the times, I guess. All right. Any other comments on that one, Michael? You're happy with them stopping that?
Oh yeah, it's just time marches on, doesn't it?
It sure does. It sure does. All right. Now, if you want other great information about what's going on in tech, especially in this great land of Australia, don't forget to tune in to Aussie Tech Head, and you can find them on iTunes, or also just just grab the RSS feed and plonk it into your player of choice. So shows are produced every Thursday. So get them on Friday through iTunes. Also, the AussieTechRadio.com. AussieTechRadio.com, 24/7, wall-to-wall tech shows. I know you love that. It's a shout.
That's what you should be listening to. None of this Spotify crap.
Well, that's right. You go, no, you can't bring in a shoutcast into Spotify, can you? You can on TuneIn Radio. The TuneIn Radio app. You can bring in the shoutcast streams, as far as I know. So that's all right. Yeah. And don't forget, what else is there? The web pages, aussiemaczone.com.au, and Facebook, facebook.com/Aussie Tech Heads. Follow us. Maczone doesn't have its own little Facebook page. It's just the generic one for Aussie Tech Heads. And every day, if there's anything special in the apps get given away for free, I'll put them up there on the Facebook page. So I think today's one was a Halloween game or something, coming up to Halloween. So I'm sure there'll be a few more. I'll maybe make the rest of this week the Halloween app week, if there are.
Hurrah! Yes,
if there are some there available. All right, now what else have we got going here? Jason? Where's Michael's stories? Is this coming up?
This is you. Jason again.
Jason again. Oh, Michael. Yeah. Michael's got the.
I've got all the stories. I've raided the story cupboard and taken them all for myself.
All right. What's this one about, Jace?
Apple Pay, and not that we're seeing it here in Australia, but hearing plenty of stories. And Tim Cook's saying that Apple Pay is already the leader in contactless payments. And again, that probably sounds very strange to us here in Australia, where I guess as we went to chip and pin We've all had on our cards the technology to do contactless payments that came in as part of the chips on there, and through PayWave and PayPass, which are the Visa and MasterCard sponsored schemes. It's been something that in Australia we've been able to do for a while, and I believe that's similar in in Europe. So I guess from the land that still swipes cards and does signatures, it probably is something still a little novel there, because some of the podcasts and stories you hear, if I went into Subway and just held up my phone and it took my payment. But
that's so 2012 America.
Oh, yes.
Get with it.
But I guess this all comes, it comes through. There's stories of, I guess, depending upon merchants and collections of merchants and type of thing, that some people that did support Apple Pay because Visa and MasterCard were supporting it and their bank supported it, turned it off because they were going to support or launch a competitive scheme. So I think there's going to be a lot of toing and froing in the US for a while, and it obviously becomes quite frustrating there. I mean, in Australia we expect, you got your Visa, MasterCard, Amex card, FPOS ATMs, you can rock up to anything with any card and it just works. It's back from probably the days of 20 years ago where you had a Westpac card, it only worked at Westpac and Commonwealth Bank ATMs, and all that type of stuff. Yeah. I think the US seem to be going through a little bit of a phase of that with the contactless payments. So whilst Apple's leading the leader, I don't think there's a huge take up at the moment, where predominantly people are still signing and swiping cards. So be interesting to see coming up to the holiday season, spending season there, how that plays out. And that's obviously going to, I think, feed into what we might see next year, hopefully, where it gets sort of launched worldwide once maybe the US sort themselves out.
What's this CVS that they're talking about in that story? Do you know?
That's a retailer. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a chemist store, and they've got their own system that they've been developing with a whole heap of retailers. That's called Current C, with current capital C on the end. They've been developing it for 2 years or something. It's where you get your phone, you take a photo of a Q.
It's either a barcode or a QR code, isn't it?
We don't even have them anymore. It's so old.
Yeah.
The little barcode thing.
Yeah.
You take a copy of that, and it then it goes, oh, yeah, right, take the money out of your bank, blah, blah, blah. You got to give them your bank account. They know all you do, really. Whereas ours is just a credit card or a debit card. So I can be in line, transfer $20 to my card, and then pay for something, and that's, they don't know any more details than that. So you got to give this mob your banking details, because it's the group of big and small retailers. They reckon there's a lot more information to be gained from it, like for purchasing and history and marketed advertising. But the deal was apparently that you had to sign a 3-year agreement where you wouldn't use any other card. So even, if I went over to America, I couldn't use, at all of these stores.
Yeah.
I personally couldn't use my bank card or my debit card or my credit card.
Yeah.
Because it's not one of their chip, their group.
Yeah. Right.
Do you know the best part?
That's ridiculous.
Do you know the best part though? So they've been preparing for this. They've now disabled like Apple Pay. It doesn't go live until next year. It's not actually live yet.
That's right.
But it's a
So your choice now is nothing. You can't use their system. It doesn't. It's not live. It doesn't exist at the moment.
The only reason I brought this
Those crazy Americans.
the CVS up is this story just goes on and says, as for CVS and some other retailers saying they won't support Apple Pay, Cook sounds like he thinks they'll come around. Well, of course they're going to come around. This is a nice quote from Cook. In the long arc of time. So time's in an arc now. But Tim would know.
He'll sort it out when they're locking up their store at night and going out to the alley. They'll be met by someone saying,
they'll look up and
we'd really like you to use Apple.
They'll look up into the sky and they go, there's the arc of time. Now, in the arc of time, you're only relevant as a merchant if your customers love you, implying that Apple Pay, if Apple Pay takes off, retailers will find their way towards supporting it. And he spoke directly about the CVS spat, which he called the CVS skirmish. So, but that's right. Like, Apple is bigger than CVS, or I don't know. What did you say? Pharmaceuticals? Maybe they're not. Pharmaceuticals are pretty big, aren't they?
No. It's just chemist shops.
Oh, okay. Well, Apple's like 20 times.
Apple will buy them.
Oh, yeah, it's like Walmart's one of them. Trying to think who that. Yeah, they've been talking about it.
Target.
But yeah, like you say, they're not even ready. So not are we going to let our customers just use it till we introduce another system that sort of works, that doesn't work as easy and gives us more information. We're just not going to have one.
Yeah, it's hopeless. But yeah, look, they'll come around. Like,
look, it's okay. You can pay with a check.
Yeah, they're still doing that over there.
They love it.
Yeah, I was in. Where was I? I think I must have been in Walmart, and out comes a checkbook, and I'm thinking, you serious? Walmart checkbook?
And it's not even checks. It's like where you can like sign over or endorse a check as well. So I'll pay you a check and you'll take it in and sign it over to someone else.
Someone else.
Your groceries. Crazy.
Oh, I remember that you used to be able to do that in the old days. You know, like you'd get a check and you just take it into the pub. You sign the back of it, give it to the publican. You got the
use it as a coaster.
Yeah, you got the cash. Away you go. But these days, who takes checks? Now, within 72 hours, Apple apparently activated 1 million cards, and presumably it's only gone up significantly since then. So there you go.
And I would think, just speaking of client, my chip died about 2 weeks ago, and I know I'm not the first one to actually have a chip die on their cards.
Oh.
So I don't know how reliable chip credit cards are.
I remember years ago, I don't know how long ago, it would have been the late 90s. I think I did a trial of the smart card with the little chip in it. I think the NAB was doing the trial, and you could go down and get the card with the debit card with a chip in it.
Yeah.
And there was a few merchants around Coolangatta at the time, and yeah, so we did a little trial. So that's a long time. I just remembered that. That's ages ago. All right.
So
yes.
I would assume that the phone's going to be more reliable for that. And it also means you're only carrying your phone, not 10 different chips, because they say, don't put the chips too close to get, like, the magnetic strips, don't put them too close together, and careful where you have them. And
Yeah, well, that's right. I think I've lost a card once or twice put down to magnetic strip rub. But other than that, it's just, like, I don't know. Every card has got a magnetic strip, like every card in your wallet. So they're all right. It's all right now.
And how are you supposed to keep them far enough apart that they don't affect each other?
Yeah, you put a little bit of thin piece of lead between them. Imagine put all that lead in your pocket. You just walk it around.
Wrap a bit of tin foil around it, it'll be all right.
That's right. Doubles as a hat.
You can't even get tin foil anymore, can you?
I don't know. Tin foil? What's that? Just alfoil, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, they're different.
Is it? What's tin foil?
From your tin foil hat?
Tin foil's tin.
Oh,
Alfoil's aluminium.
I've seen. I know what you mean. I have seen tin foil. Yeah, it's a bit stronger, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, I know what you mean. Yes, I know what you mean. All right, now let's go into the Dole tip of the week. Now, this tip of the week from Michael, he's answering it, and this has been kindly donated and asked for by a serious listener of the show. And he said, I haven't got the person's name here. It was something like Joseph or something like that. But anyway, listener has asked why their iPad drops connection to a PC running Windows 8. So we did okay. So I think, well, let me try and explain that one. I think I've had this issue before. Is that you plug your iPhone into the computer and the iTunes pops up. You go to back it up, and then it's going along swimmingly, and then all of a sudden, it just goes boom boom. Can't find your device, and that's it. Just can't find the device. What's happening, Michael?
So,
how do I fix it?
Not whoever our fantastic listener is,
Joseph, I think.
They're not the first person to actually have had the problem, but they're using the original cord and have reinstalled iTunes, they say here. But so we're definitely going to need to post a link to the Apple support article for this one because it's very long. It's about 3 pages long. And this is just the knowledge base article. So, and the first thing it says in big writing is, don't uninstall these components in a different order or only uninstall some of them. Doing so might have unintended effects. And it starts off, to remove these components, 1, iTunes, 2, Apple software update, 3, blah, 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 down to 12. It says, if you see other iTunes entries in the list, remove them by repeating steps 4 to 6.
Right.
And then step 13, using steps 4 to 6 also remove all instances of Apple software update, Apple mobile device support, Bonjour, Apple application support, blah, blah, blah.
So,
then it goes on how to reinstall everything from scratch to do with the Apple stuff. So it's not going to be a 5-minute fix.
No.
It's not just a matter of going in and hitting uninstall and getting rid of iTunes and then restart your machine and reinstalling it. You've got to do the whole process start to finish.
Why would this have happened? Is it like this is on the Windows? I'm guessing this doesn't happen on the Mac. You don't really have too many issues. Everything just works nicely. But
well, that's why we have a Mac.
Yes. The top of the show question. Now,
thank you.
Now, so we might as well just talk about this a little bit because this guy he's using iPad, so he's allowed to get an answer from us. Okay. So
iTunes is an Apple product. Bonjour is an Apple product. Apple mobile support device, application support. These are all things that are introduced into Windows and maybe at totally different times, so they get a bit of, lose the pointer to each other.
Right.
Or one might get updated a lot different to another one.
So this is like pretty much this will fix the problem, you reckon?
I believe it will fix his problem if he follows all of the steps.
Yeah.
All the 3 pages of information there.
Nice work. All right. Well, Joseph, there will be a link in the show notes for you. But for those of you who can't be bothered, it is support.apple.com/KB/HT1925. So
that's right.
Did you get that down? Good. But yeah, it'll be in the show notes. But yeah, it looks like a bit of a rigmarole. So hopefully you'll be able to get that running. So yeah, and then so at the end of the day, uninstall everything in a certain order, reinstall everything in a certain order, and bonjour is your uncle. Okay.
That's right. So
good. Okay, so hopefully that's good. Now, I think is that all, Michael, for that one? You happy with that? That's finished? Good. Now, I've got another story. Thanks. Now, Walter Isaacson. Now, we all know him, who wrote the book, the Steve Jobs book. And it was him. Did he actually do the audio recording on the Audible thing as well? Was that Walter speaking? Do we know?
Yes, I believe it was.
Yeah, I have a feeling it was too. Yeah. So anyway, Walter Isaacson, Steve Jobs' favourite product was the Apple team. Okay, so Walter has said, I once asked Steve Jobs, what product are you the proudest of? And I thought he might say iPod or iPhone or the iPad, whatever, the Mac. And he said, making a product is hard, but making a team that can continually make products is even harder. The product I'm most proud of is Apple and the team I built at Apple. Well, that's pretty good, isn't it? So that's probably a very good answer, actually. He's proud of the team. Otherwise, he wouldn't have the products.
I thought it might have been the Newton.
I don't know if he was too proud whenever they kicked him out. When was that? early 90s or something?
That was early 90s, yes.
87.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
It was...
Because he got a bit angry, didn't he, with the guys there?
Yeah, he wasn't overly impressed, yes.
But I mean, like, what? That's got to be the best revenge story of ever. You know, he's been kicked out of his own company.
But that
yeah,
and that's what taught him to make the team, because he like before he was even sick, he knew he wasn't going to be there forever, and he still loves the Apple company, and he wanted it to be here forever, making great products. So he just kept on building the team around him. That, you know, with the stories about him, you know, they all get narky, not because someone steals the product, like, you know, Samsung pinching those phones, so they've even got 30-pin connectors on them and stuff when they first come out. It's all the time the workers have spent not with their families, you know, because they were all working so hard to make the phone or to make the iPod or yeah.
What was he always? I've got the audio book. You know, when it first came out, I bought the book from Audible, and at that stage, I haven't listened to it all yet, and I'm telling you why. Because when it first came out, my phone was a Samsung, and and I hated that phone with a passion. And one of the reasons was because I'd listen to the podcast on my way to work, right? So I'd put on the story. I start the story. I'd walk over to work. Took me about 10 to 15 minutes. And then I went, cool, pause, put in my pocket, went to work. On the way home, you know, the stupid Winamp app, I think it was then, it would not retain where you were up to. And I had to fast forward manually every time I started it. And that is why I haven't finished it. Because I never got back to it after that. Never got back to it. But I tell you. But anyway.
But I know the first 20 pages off by heart.
That's right, pretty much. But I'll tell you, when I was over in the US, I drove past Palo Alto, and I was so tempted just to, you know, hang a ride and just go and see what was going on down there. But I couldn't. All right. What's next? Michael, your turn.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
There was just one more thing, Apple Pay, because, you know, everything's about Apple Pay at the moment.
Yes.
If you have an American credit card or a debit card, which, you know, some people do from friends overseas or contacts, whatever.
Yeah.
If you go into settings and change your region to US, then you go to Passbook app to take that'll let you take a photo of your card, and then you fill out a little bit of information. You set up, and apparently you can go into Macca's and have quite a few stores, and it just works. But you just got to have that region set to US. So your Apple Pay will work in Australia, works in Europe,
right?
All based on, but you have to have that American credit card or debit card. It's got to know that much.
So Macca's have the technology over here too.
Well, everyone in Australia's got the technology, just about, like any of the big retailers.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I suppose. Well, is there any idea when this is going to come to Australia, like legitimately, and Australian credit cards and everything, like launched in Australia? Are they talking about that?
No, not yet. I haven't had anything back from the banks yet.
Right. Is it like a bit of a they want to see how it's going to go first, do you think? Or is it just waiting for Apple to give the nod?
I think they'd just be waiting for Apple to give the nod, I would have thought.
Yeah. Well, what could possibly be the hold-up? Is it Apple want to iron a few things out before they go?
They might only have 20 engineers working on the thing. You know, say you do America first, and then you do, you know, Australia or Europe, you know.
Yeah.
Just like when they first released the phone, only certain people got it, you know, countries got it. And then when they first released the next phone, it was a few more people got it the first release. And I think that's just what it's going to be like.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. And what was the last part of that little one you had there?
Yes, so there was just another story during the week. One of the Google executives, not Sergey or Larry, but one of their managers, and he's 59 too. He's not a spring chicken like the rest of us, but he early in the morning they went to a deserted airstrip, had this special massive balloon and a special spacesuit that had been made for him.
Yeah.
Gone up, he had an electrical firing thing on to disconnect him from the parachute, and he was, I don't know, 3 kilometres or something higher than that. What's his name? Boom Gator or something that did the Red Bull one 2 years ago. That was that.
No way. He was higher.
So
than
he's
that
the
guy.
highest person to go for. He was in the stratosphere, so he had it went faster than the speed of sound on the way down, and
way.
so it had a little sonic boom.
Yeah, right.
Created by him.
But yeah, right. But didn't they say? Because I saw an interview with that dude that jumped from space, and he was saying that he was really worried about blacking out because he would tumble or whatever, and the G-force would black him out. So I didn't think you could go any higher than this dude. I don't know.
Well, it wasn't heaps higher, but it's still
3K higher. Yeah.
And it was it 15 minutes from when he let go to when he got on the ground?
Oh, I don't know what it was, but I'll tell you, look, if anyone hasn't seen that jump, YouTube it, because I haven't seen. Was that so? This was filmed, you know? This Google dude.
This new one, I believe, was filmed as well. Yeah,
I'd have to have a look at that. But if anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, go and YouTube jumping from space or whatever. I don't know what that Poopka's bloke's name is, but just go, just YouTube jump.
Boom, I've forgotten his name now after reading it so many times, but it's worth a watch.
Oh, it is awesome! Like he stands on the edge or out of this little contraption, this little pod, and I'd say the pod is orbiting. Is that what's happening? Or can it orbit? He's not really outside the atmosphere, is he? So
so it would. You'd imagine it would fall back down whenever whatever got him up there. Yeah, it would. But fail, and he would come back. It would fall back down.
Yeah, it is
probably
amazing.
Burn up.
Yeah, it's just an amazing video. Seriously, it is very, very amazing. So go on YouTube, and if you haven't seen it, it'll just.
This guy basically gone up in a parachute, which is just a balloon. It's just a reverse parachute, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was a really big one, and it's gone up there, pressed the button, it's gone bang and released him by an electric discharge on the shoulder pads. Let him go.
What the hell made him do that? What made someone say, "Hey, I'm going to jump from space"?
Why not?
Yeah, do something with his money.
Yeah, but God, Drew, that's out of control.
So when they talk about their space stuff that they're doing at Google, they're really doing it. Like he was in there, he was up there checking it out.
That's just
it was a tax deduction for him.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm going to go and have to suss that out. That's awesome.
Research. I'd better go up in the stratosphere and have a look around where my balloons are going to go for the balloon wireless thing that they do.
That's right. I wonder if he was on flight radar. All their other little Google balloons are on flight radar.
Imagine you're flying along in your plane and going, "Did you see that?
That just looked like a falling Google exec.
A bloke just went past us."
Faster than a speeding bullet, no less. All right. Oh, I think that's about all that we've got for this week. Is there anything else, guys? Anything else you want to digest?
I think we've covered it.
Yeah, I think so. There's nothing else that I can think of that's happened this week. Everything's been pretty quiet, other than what we've spoke about. I can't think of anything. No.
The one thing is that with the Mac taking over the iPads, we are coming up to the Christmas area for iPads, and we know that people would have stopped buying them because they knew a new one was coming to start with.
Yeah.
They're still, and so this means the Macs and the iPads, each individually, are still selling more than 1 million a week.
Yeah, that's just
a week.
You can't fathom it, can you?
So in anything you're selling 1 million of something a week, you're doing all right, aren't you?
Yeah, you can't imagine just some little munchkin putting together 1 million machines a week.
That's right.
Like the factory,
and we're talking a million a week at Apple's margin, not at Samsung's margin or Walmart's
they're
margin.
making money out of it, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, that's right. Well, they wouldn't be doing it if they weren't making money out of it.
Yeah, think how many 1 million is, and they're making that many, they're selling that many every week on a bad time.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Why can't we get into something like that? There must be something we can do. I don't know. Anyway, all right. we'll go away and ponder.
Maybe a watch.
Oh, when are they? They're not coming till next year, though, are they?
No.
Yeah.
I see Fitbit have released a watch now.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Yeah, we won't support Apple, and we'll release a watch just a few months before Apple do. I'm not sure they're sort of positioned for success.
Do you
No,
think?
but they didn't, did they? The one they've released before Christmas is just a replacement for the one they already had, which gave some people rashes because of the contents of the rubber
Yeah, or the metal or
that
something.
was on the band. Like they had bits, some alloy. When you make rubber, they put some metal alloy in it, and that was giving people a rash.
Yeah, right.
But the actual phone one that they've released isn't coming out till
That's
after
right.
Christmas anyway.
You know, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Am I a naysayer? I just don't think that the watches are really going to take off. Are they taking off now? I just don't think they're going to.
Even if they only sell 1 million a month, Glenn.
Well, yeah, this is true. This is true. But I don't think they're going to take off. They're not going to be an iPhone, I don't think. I don't think it's going to really.
I don't think anything's going to be an iPhone.
No, that was just probably the product of the century, eh? That was just crazy.
Yeah, because, like you say, iPhone, everyone will do it every 2 years because they figure they're not paying for it anyway because they get it on a contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas an iPad's not really on a contract. So it might be 4 years or so before we buy our next one. And a watch, you're expecting maybe, I'd expect more than 5 years out of a watch, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. I just don't know what you'd use it for. I suppose we'll wait and see. We'll see what we're going to use it for. Probably contactless payments. Apple Pay. Just zing.
For a start.
Yeah, for a start.
That's right.
Well, you could have one on each arm and be like Wonder Woman or something. Pay for stuff all over the shop. All right. Let's get out of
money
it.
in on one and money out on the other.